My name is Jeff Koinange and welcome to my journey of discovery. This is a review of my book through my African eyes. It is about my life so far. It's all about growing up, my experiences, my family life, my career, and then what I'll become in the last 20 or so years. I see Thabo Mbeki has read the book. Indeed, he has, and he loved it. He loved it. Professor Ngoki Wadiongo, hello. Henry Louis Gates, my goodness, from Harvard University. Ooh, Kendrick Community College. But do I say? It has been a long journey. It took me 7 years to write this book. It is because a lot of people think they know me. A lot has been written about me. Some true, mostly not so true. So I decided, let me set the record straight. Let me tell it like it is. Let me start from the beginning. So I started from the beginning, 1966, growing up in this family of 4 kids, being raised by a single parent. It was a tough life. People look at me and say privilege. He's got big name, Gina Kubwa, Gary Kubwa, Kila Kitu Kubwa. You see, tough life growing up, but we went to grade school because my mother insisted that one thing should give to us was a good education. Hello. We went to grade school, went to St. Mary's, and that's where I earned my talent in sports. I was an athlete. I was a joke. I was a sportsman to the core. Soccer, football, rugby was my forte. Basketball, hockey, swimming. I wanted to be an athlete after I left school because I figured I didn't have any talent. I didn't have any talent to do anything. I couldn't be doctor, lawyer, accountant. I didn't have those skills. Even I was okay in school, but I figured out, you know what? I'll go the easy route. I'll be an athlete. And that did not go too far. Short-lived career. My mother told me, what if you break a leg? What if something happens and your career is destroyed at the age of 18? And so another dream began. I saw an ad in the paper. Pan Am, the airline back then, was looking for flight attendants in Kenya. I was a flight attendant. Sit back. Better yet, drinks will be served in a bit. Coffee, tea, or me. That's exactly what I used to do on the plane. After they took us to Miami, Florida for training, and they asked me, listen, Jeff, why can't you do the announcement so as to hear the voice on the PA system? And they started. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome aboard Pan American triple flight number 089 from Nairobi with continuous services to Lagos, Monrovia, Dakar, and New York. All of us are trained in cabin safety, and we ask that you watch and listen carefully as we review the safety features of this Pan Am Boeing 747. I did that for a year and a half, and each time I made that announcement, passengers will applaud, passengers will tell me, look kid, go to school, you're wasting your time. Strangers telling me this. A year and a half later, I got the message. It took a while. I'm a slow learner. So it is called delay. So I packed up, went to school, studied broadcast journalism, and ended up at NYU, New York University, grad school. And from there, I started working. I started in the business in America. And I actually stayed the full 4 years in school, making me one of few Kenyans who actually go to school when they go to the States. Others do manual jobs, including pumping gas and scraping ice off the road. Hello. I finished, started working, then decided, you know what? It is great that I'm living in America, working in America, but what is this doing for my people? I decided to come back home. The first time I came back, I started reading news on KTN. Oh my, there was an uproar. The sweet word was on fire. Who is this man? He is a man with master plan. Jeff Koinange, correct. From KTN, I started working for Reuters as well as African Journal. Remember that program? The magazine program? Fantastic. Made me fly across Africa, man, and do stories. And that was my exposure to the continent. From Reuters, CNN came calling. They've heard about me. They submitted. You are our guy. We're going to open a bureau in Lagos. Come on down. And Lagos is, oh my, wamai. There is two things about Nigerian people you need to know. You either love it or hate it. There is no in between. I loved it. Fantastic. I mean, to be honest, some of my best friends are Nigerians. To this day, like 12 years after I left Nigeria, they still call me. What I mean is, Nigeria was a fantastic experience. I had a rough time. I did a story that wasn't well liked. I did many stories that weren't well liked by Nigerians. But you just realize that Nigeria don't like to be criticized by outsiders. They rather from within. When they criticize themselves, it's okay. But you as an outsider, you go and say, you guys are 419. They won't like that. So I left Nigeria and CNN. At the end of that story I did about the Niger Delta. You know the story. You know that one controversial, fantastic story that looked like Hollywood movie. It was so good that people thought I stage managed it. Me? Do I look like Spike Lee? So I left CNN, came and helped start K24. And the rest, as they say. And that was a great journey. 5 years building a station. That's power. Now, I work for Citizen. I've got a show. It's live, so it's real time. So depending on the topic and subject, people can tweet, Facebook, text, live calling, and we have a discussion every week. Hello. Jeff Koinange Live. JKL. Now, I know I've got inspiration to all the youths, and I appreciate that. Now, my plans are we're gonna launch the book, and I'm gonna try to sell it as much as I can across the continent, because this is a story about us. I want it to be a story about everyone, and everyone can relate, and people can say, I know that. I've lived through that, and I wanna write my story. That's what I'm gonna encourage people to do. Oh my, I'm gonna tell you this. The funniest moment in the book. Some pretty funny moments. The funniest moment ever. You're gonna love this. We were in Lawrence, Louisiana, covering Hurricane Katrina. So part of the CNN team had been sent in to cover this madness. You know, the levers are broken, the city was flooded. It was crazy. People had fled. But you know, every time we did stories, people were going that way, we're going this way. So we were downtown in Wallace, day 7, 8, 9, covering everyday live on CNN Live, mostly CNN Domestic. So one of the biggest shows then on CNN Domestic was Larry King Live. Larry had seen me on What Beatrice show and he said, hey, who is that guy? I need him in my show. So they called me, Jeff, Larry King Live, 9 p.m. prime time, you are the guest. Give us a brief on what's the leaders in Wallace. I was excited. Larry, me, he knows me. I got in front of the camera. 9 o'clock. Larry is introducing the show. Hey, good evening, everyone. Nye, 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 nye. And he doesn't even spill. Okay, before we go to our guest, let us go to New Orleans. And our reporter who has been covering this story since it began is going to give us a brief update. Okay, our reporter there is John Koinange. John, what's the latest? Larry King. He just called me John Koinange. So there I am. I am thinking maybe there is someone else in New Orleans and it's not me. And there was that slide and I said, oh, Larry. And I gained the spiel. Then back to you, Larry. John, Keep up the good work, John. And he told the audience, John Koinange, New Orleans. How about that? Then the producers called back and apologized profusely and said, listen, Jeff, can we have you back tomorrow? And I promise you, I will pronounce your name right. How about that? You can't make this stuff up. What a man. What a guest. What a mistake. What a Larry. You're gonna enjoy reading this book because it is a page turner. Turn the page. It's Moki. Oh my.